Hello and welcome to ISWB TV Headlines. I am Joy Asoyin. Acting President Professor Yemi Osibanjo sent Justice Walter Onogen's name to the Senate for confirmation as substantive Chief Justice of Nigeria. Nigeria power sector investors have called for settlements of 50 billion naira owed them, while also calling for the introduction of a realistic tariff structure reflective of the current rate of inflation and foreign exchange. The Nigerian police have said that they have recovered 111.3 million naira from 23 independent National Electoral Commission's officials who conducted the December 10 rerun elections in Rivers State. The money is claimed to be part of the 360 million naira bribe allegedly paid by Governor Nyesom Wike to compromise electoral and security officials for his party candidates to win. An 18-year-old failed suicide bomber, Amina, has been intercepted by the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps in Maiduguri. She revealed that she was given 200 naira for the mission. She is of Imam Shekau's faction of Boko Haram and married to a terrorist commander known as Amir. The federal government of Nigeria has withdrawn a 2.2 billion naira fraud charge filed against the Chief Registrar of the Supreme Court, Ahmed Gambo, and 2 others. They were scheduled for arraignment on a 9-count criminal charge for diverting 2.2 billion naira belonging to the Supreme Court. The federal government has set a 2019 target to end the importation of refined petroleum products into the country. This was disclosed by the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ibe Kachuku, who also said that refineries that were non-functional had been refurbished and now contributing 8 million liters out of over 20 million that the country consumes daily. Imo State Governor Rochas Okorocha has announced his plans to lock out non-indigens from its free education program in public schools. The decision, according to the state government, was hinged upon the huge success it claimed to the ballooning of student enrollment from 200,000 when it commenced in 2011 to the present 800,000. The government also claimed that the program had cost it more than 40 billion naira. South Africa's President Jacob Zuma has ordered the deployment of about 440 troops to maintain law and order in Parliament for his annual State of the Nation address. Opposition parties have, however, condemned the decision as a declaration of war. Previous addresses by President Zuma in Parliament have been marred by protests and brawls as opposition demand his resignation. A tornado has touched down and hit a National Aeronautic and Space Administration facility in New Orleans, where workers are building key components for the agency's new deep space rocket. 10 people sustained minor injuries. Thanks for staying with us on Daily Headlines on ISWB TV. I am Joy Asoyin.
Hello and thanks for joining us. This is ISWB Market Updates. I am Phoebe Tukur. Asian share markets hovered below a 4-month high and euro was pressured as doubt over the policy of US President Donald Trump and a looming election in France sapped investors' confidence. MSCI's broadest index of Asia-Pacific shares outside Japan was up 0.01% in late trade, after spending most of the session in the negative territory. Kospi of South Korea was on the red at 0.49%. Japan's Nikkei 225 rose 0.5%, while India's Sensei was down 0.15% in the red. On Wall Street, the S&P 500 ended barely higher, while the Nasdaq edged to a record high, as gains in big tech names countered energy declines. European shares were expected to open mixed, with spread bettors looking to a 0.3% fall. In Britain's FTSE 100 was almost flat. Germany's opening in Xetra was 0.04% and 0.1% rise in France's CAC. With more than half of the S&P 500 having reported results, fourth quarter earnings are on the track to have climbed 8.2%. which will be the best performance since the third quarter of 2014. A raft of strong global economic data and hopes that Trump will quickly deliver on talk of stimulus measures had helped to support world share markets and the dollar since last year. Uncertainty on the new administration's currency policy is also keeping foreign exchange markets on the edge. The dollar had been steadily declining against the yen since Trump signaled displeasure with Japan's currency stance on January 31st of 2017. The dollar has been steadily declining, and the U.S. currency traded at $112.35 to the yen. The euro, on the other hand, has shed 1.1% so far this week. The single currency has been hit by growing concerns that the far right will win France's presidential vote and take the country out of Euro and European Union. Elsewhere, the Chinese yuan dipped slightly following the data that showed China's foreign exchange reserves unexpectedly fell below the closely watched $3 trillion level in January for the first time in nearly 6 years. Still, the market impact was limited as the fall in the reserves of $12.3 billion to $2.99 trillion was the smallest in 7 months, indicating China's renewed crackdown on outflow seems just right. The yuan was little changed after dipping to a 1-week low to above 6 yuan to the dollar in offshore trade and 3-week low of around 6 yuan on the offshore rate. The commodity market has oil prices extended falls as massive increase in the U.S. fuel inventories and a slumping Chinese demand implied that global crude markets remain oversupplied despite OPEC-led efforts to cut output. International Brent crude fell 0.4% to $54.81 per barrel. They were down 3.5% so far this week. Gold was down 0.08%. Sugar inched up at about 0.06%, while coffee and cocoa remain unchanged. For ISWB market updates, I am Phoebe Tukur.